Hello, and welcome to another Origins of Expressions. Today, we'll be going over the phrases a king's ransom, queen bee, prince charming. What do they all have in common? Well, they're all phrases and idioms around royalty. Let's go ahead and form a line and march right on in. Some form of monarchy has been around for well over 1,200 years. They have influenced the lives of their subjects and onlookers alike. We use idioms and phrases with royal labels to express a situation that everyone around us would understand, especially if you live in a country that has a royal family. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into our first idiom. A king's ransom. A king's ransom is used when we are expressing an unspecific but large amount of money. Boy, that watch looks expensive. I bet it cost a king's ransom. This idiom is said to be around since the Middle Ages. It was referring to an actual sum of money, the amount required to gain the freedom of a king who was being held prisoner due to a wartime capture. During war in the Middle Ages, each participant had a price on their head. The richer and more influential the person captured, the more money could be obtained to secure their release. Historical research has shown that there was a well-organized trade in the captives of war and the capturing of higher-ranking prisoners, which led to a significant bonus in the income of the capturing forces. Of course, kings were the wealthiest and provided the greatest bounty. In 1192, the Duke of Austria captured the English king, King Richard I. A price of 100,000 pounds in silver was demanded, and eventually obtained, for his release. The transition led to the meaning of the phrase a king's ransom, from the literal price for the release of a king to a figurative name for an exceedingly large sum of money. The first written record of a king's ransom was in 1525. Written in Old English, it read, "A king's ransom it was worth, and more." Today, we use king's ransom simply to denote a large amount of money. No kings or their release are even involved. An example sentence is, "Don't laugh. She makes a king's ransom selling clothing for pets." Let's let them finish their walk while we fly over to our next phrase. Queen bee. Queen bee is used to show that a woman holds a place of power or has a dominant position over her peers, a lady boss. Oh, look at that queen bee strutting around. The phrase queen bee has been around for a few hundred years, with the first written account in 1780 by Sophia Lee in the chapter of Accidents, a comedy. It read, "He could not endure to see her flying around like the queen bee with the whole hive at her heels." Nowadays, this is used the same way, but we see this as a derogatory term applied to women who have achieved success in traditional male-dominated fields. An example sentence is, "You'll have to ask the queen bee before you put through any more orders on the company card." Now that we've flown around that idiom, let's look into our last phrase of the video. Prince Charming. I know, this one sounds too funny to be a phrase, but more like a cartoon character. But Prince Charming has some great history about how it started. And no, it's not from a mouse-loving cartoonist who loves seeing damsels in distress being rescued. Prince Charming is often portrayed by a handsome and romantic male character who acts as a hero and saves a female from a bad situation. It can also be used as a term to idolize a man that someone sees as a future husband or lover. Ooh, isn't he a Prince Charming? This phrase did not start out as Prince Charming, but instead it was converted over time. Charles Perrault's version of Sleeping Beauty, published in 1697, it includes the following text. This is the point of the book where the princess wakes up from her long slumber. It reads in French. Translated, It means, "Are you my prince?" she said. "You've kept me waiting a long time." The prince, charmed by her words, did not know how to express his joy. So it was the prince who was being charmed, not the charmer. Aha! The French text shows Le Prince Charmé, which was converted to Prince Charming as time went on. We see Prince Charming popping up in many modern takes of the old fairy tales. If not by name, then by demeanor. What a charming prince! Today we use Prince Charming to portray a hypothetical perfect man with all the traits of a perfect partner. An example sentence is, "I'd almost given up hope of ever finding my own Prince Charming before I met you." Well, now that she's met her Prince Charming, let's bow out and give them some time to get to know each other. Ooh, I got a fun fact for you. Did you know that the monarchs of Great Britain celebrate two birthdays? They have their actual birthday, which is represented on the day that they were born, and usually celebrate it with their families. But then they have their birthday that they celebrate with the public. Why is this, you might ask? It all goes back to 1748, when King George II decided to combine his birthday, which was normally in October, with the annual summer military march celebration, which is usually the second Monday of June. Since that time, all of the following monarchs have followed suit and celebrate their birthday with the public in the summer, regardless of when their real birthday is. Neat. Well, that's all the information that I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed learning about where our idioms and phrases come from. If you do, I would love to have you subscribe to the channel. It's free. It won't cost you a king's ransom. You just have to hit the button. Oh yeah, before you go, do you know any idioms or phrases around royalty? Maybe you know other idioms or phrases around a completely different subject. I would love to see them. Leave them in the comments below. And if I use a phrase, I'll give you a shout out. Thank you again for watching and subscribing. I really appreciate your support. Until next time, bye.